The streamers, streamer only game. His main
His
account
main
is banned.
account is not banned. I will say that because unless I played with it literally 2 days ago.
Did it have little squigglies over half of the letters? Because
No.
that's someone who's just pretending to be him.
Definitely not. I was on a stream, so definitely not. I'm pretty sure he's unbanned anyway.
Impure fools.
He got banned during the stream? Oh, jeez.
No, I know that, but he's not banned anymore. Like, or if he was banned, he's not banned anymore. He's playing. He's playing. He's still playing League. He's probably playing even right now. Or maybe not. I don't know his schedule. Oh, he is playing right now.
What account is he playing on, though?
Playing on a Shinshin, guys.
Why?
What? It's almost like
Alright,
he's not
so, like,
banned.
message him and tell him to play in the next game.
Yeah.
I will cast a 5th game if Shinshin plays. No lies. If Shinshin plays the
Uh-huh.
next game, I'll cast it. But let's talk about this game. Thresh and there it is. I didn't want to.
Yeah,
talk
there's
too
the
much about
Anivia
it,
ban.
but the Karthus ban against Intra. Intra on the stream is insanely well known for ridiculous Karthus plays. Mid lane, jungle, top lane, wherever he takes Karthus, he does well with this champion. So good to see it banned. I say good lightly because it's good to see people doing their homework, but it also sucks for me because I love to cast Intra's Karthus. As that is, Pike the first pick, Broken Hearts grabbing that, and this is a champion that I recently bought just so that I could start to play him in a ranked game because he's such a crazy champion with his mix of high mobility and CC, and then again that ultimate giving basically double gold to both himself and whoever's closest to him is so good at getting your lane ahead.
Yeah, and it looks like Broken Hearts potentially looking to prove that he's not just a Malphite one-trick, opting in for the Pike. And it looks like Brand and Kane most likely going to be picked up on the side of whatever the team on the right is called, Plebs, Team Plebs. But yeah, this looks like it's going to be the most exciting one of the night, as we have, I believe this is the highest rated players overall this time around.
Some high, some
high. I think it's like it looks like it was about at least 3 diamond-ish level players on each side. So
hey, the more diamond people we can get. Well, okay, so just so you're aware, Cold Art. Eventually, what I'd like to do is a bit more of the Trick 2G style, where one game is like bronzers and silvers, the next games is gold and plats, and then everything above that is third game. That is long-term goals when there's a bunch of people. So. Delicious Seal, Darius, Reeves, Anivia, Ice, Zoe, just to tilt him. Yeah, there isn't even... Well, his Zoe's pretty darn good. Cody J's Thresh, and Xenos Kaisa. There's a couple more thrown in there, like Interest Karthus, but that's a pretty good list right there. The more people we can get, the harder I can feed. This is exactly why I don't play in the games, and only shoutcast.
I would like to say, Kog'Maw is an interesting pickup here. It's not one I've seen in the meta as of late. I don't think he has much presence at all in the current higher echelons of the ladder. So, curious to see what he's going to be looking for with this pick.
FeelsXenoMan is absolutely the most unbelievably terrifying. Just kidding. For some reason, Salik, who plays in the stream every now and then, he used to be a caster, but he's gotten busy with his job. He got memed into being a supposed Mumu one trick, even though he's totally not. And so now, anytime he plays, his Mumu gets banned, even though he's like, I don't really play a Mumu. Why do you keep banning this against me? But
it's a free ban. Just roll with it.
Just roll with it and enjoy it. Alright, we'll see what Nerzulian grabs. Oh, it's Yor! I've heard about Nerzulian's Yorick. I don't think I've seen it in a long while, but I'm excited to see what he can do with it. My coworker actually played a lot of Yorick. They shovel Nasus in the top lane, shoving down the lane as hard as he can, as Lighthouse looks like he may be going for the Victor in the
Victor.
lane.
Oh.
It's going to be tricked out for Morgana. That's a more.
Yeah, I was gonna say Victor mid's interesting because it's still pretty strong. Although some people still max Q when you should be maxing E, like Jensen did against Fnatic, or maybe it was the other way around. I think it was Caps against IG. But regardless, it looks like Jax is looking to be picked up here by Team Plebs, and Jack is one of those picks who's always, he's really strong, but he never feels quite strong enough that you want to ban him.
Well,
He's like the 11th most powerful champion, I feel, in almost any game.
I did go through a video talking about one-trick champions and the best roles for them, and he did say that besides Fiora, Jax was one that he'd love to take in the top lane, mostly because he's good enough that you can carry a game if you know what you're doing, and he's not good enough that he will receive a ton of nerfs. And so he kind of fits that just underneath the radar, and yet can definitely still be OP. Mostly going to be split pushing though, and that's the thing to analyze when it comes to Team Plebs, because they're going to have that split push Jax, so you're looking at what is their 1-3-1. Is it going to be a Gragas who looks like he's going to be playing in the mid lane? It's Crescent Reflect, Gragas in the mid. Could he, towards the later of the game, be that extra party member, or is it going to be Kayn as the jungler, who's more often that third person in the 1-3-1, sitting in a side lane and then escaping through the walls whenever people try to come to gank?
Yeah, FeelsXenoMan has a very interesting comp. They have a Kog'Maw, but they don't really have much protection for him. It's very almost like a semi-dive, semi-split push, semi-team fight kind of thing. It's a little wonky. I'm interested to see how they're going to play this one out, because I don't seem to feel a very cogent game plan coming from at least what they drafted.
All right, well, let's run through the players and the champions before we get too far into it. For the side of FeelsXenoMan, we've got Broken Hearts taking the pike in the supportive role, Esekadit taking the Nocturne in the jungle, Intra with the Kog'Maw 80 carry role, and there's Zulian with the Shovel Nasus, the Shozen, the Suvsvol taking the Yorick in the top lane, and last but not least, Lighthouse with Morgana in the mid lane.
Yeah, and on Team Plebs, we have Let Me Play 2013 picking up the brand for the support position. On the jungle, we have Desvelado picking up the Kayn, blue or red, who knows? And we have Masters player Crescent Reflex picking up the Gragas mid, an interesting choice, harkening back to those old Season 4 and Season 2 days. And as in the 80 carry position, we have FeelsXenoMan on the Jhin. And looking for the top lane, we have Otter picking up the never strong, but always good enough Jax.
Despotato,
I don't know, guys. Whatever.
Despotaco. I love it. So, team compositions overall. You've got Yorick, who's also going to be playing the split push. They're probably just going to be trading lanes. I feel like both teams are going to vie for more of a 1-4 and leave Jax and Yorick to kind of seesaw back and forth, which pushing these different lanes. I kind of like the Morgana pick from Lighthouse, which sets up opportunities for Nocturne to ult in or Pike to hook, without putting Morgana in too much danger with those dark bindings. My one concern is that their overall composition is fairly squishy besides the Yorick. So if Crescent Reflect of the Gragas in a, say, 1-4 composition is able to use that ultimate to, kind of separate the team a little bit, and then give an opportunity for Brand to just throw the ultimate, bounce between the members that are by themselves, and murder through these squishier targets, it could be team fight advantage for Team Plebs, depending on how the laning phase goes.
Yeah, I think the player to watch for Team FeelsXenoMan, is definitely the Nocturne. He's the one who's going to be controlling the pace of this game. His ults and team fights will be the ones that, with vision denial could be huge if it's placed at the right time. 6 seconds is no joke. It makes a lot of these execution from Team Plebs much harder to deal with. Also, Morgana shields. If Morgana gets a good shield if Kog'Maw has the damage to be relevant enough, and Morgana gets a good shield on him, that can completely nullify the Gragas engage, depending on exactly how much AP both of them are packing. So I think really the power players here is going to be the jungle and the mid. And with the top lanes most likely just trading fairly evenly based on what I've seen from the players that are piloting them thus far.
All right, so we've got FeelsXenoMan versus Team Plebs for the fourth and final game of the night. Broken Heart saying he trolled for the memes, picking the pike. And we'll see if that's an in-game reference or if that's just the picking of that pike is the troll. find out. So let's talk about Nocturne, because he's one of those champions that towards the beginning of the pro scene was one of the top picked and banned champions, received a little bit of a nerf, not picked or banned nearly as much, but still fairly strong. Why is it something that is relevant despite it not being played super meta? I guess the biggest question is, why isn't he super meta anymore?
He's very meta right now. He's very meta at the moment. As of Worlds, he was probably one of the top 3 junglers, I would say, almost around. And that's because he was out of the meta for a long time because his ult just wasn't long range enough. They had hacked its range so many times that it was basically just you had to jump from like the tri-brush barely to get to a bot lane because it was so small. But ever since they bumped up the darkness to 6 seconds, he's become a menace that's even viable in pro. Just because the vision now is so nasty and it plays so well against the teleports and Galio ults and all of these other kind of team-wide plays. It can be very difficult to play against around Nocturnal when you're playing against it.
So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so just so like as long as he's able to get to that level 6 in like fairly good condition, that's why I'm looking towards him much more so than the Kayn to really control the pace of this game, because he absolutely has the tools to do it if he's able to get those ults off.
Well, that's something that I was going to say when it comes to Nocturne, is that I think there's a lot of junglers that aren't immediately rushing him when it comes to, like, when I play ranked games, and I know that I'm a lowly trash silver, but when I play ranked games, he's not one of the highest picked and banned champions, even when I'm playing with golds or plats. And I think that's because a lot of people want to have the early game advantage. Ooh, Invade not quite going to be good for FeelsXenoMan, as the flash forward from Broken Hearts trying to find that hook, going to miss. Looks like we got to trade his spells back and forth as Brand shows up, throwing out a Q as well. So that's just the thing about Nocturne, is that most people are playing things like the Graves, or more jungle fighting champions like a Kindred. They don't have to wait till that level 6 to be impactful in the game, whereas Nocturne does really, like, it's very hard for him to gank pre-6. He does need to find that 6 before being too much help to the rest of his teammates. But Kayn, similar boat. He can gank pre-6, but mostly he wants to get his Darken form, which usually takes place between 6 and 8, depending on how well he's farming. And so similar jungles between the two.
Yeah, if you're looking at solo queue, what you really are looking for is early pressure. That's why Talia, Xin Zhao,
Zhao's a big one.
Nidalee, Camille, these are all very, very strong solo queue picks, precisely because they have such early game dominance. However, when you do get to those slower, more methodical games, Nocturne can really shine, because at level 6, he's much stronger in terms of team fights and making picks than a lot of those other champions on the list, who usually require a bit more snowball to get going.
And this is where I like casting these games, because especially with that Discord, it gives a little bit of an opportunity for us to kind of get a little bit of vision. Whoa, Intra getting chunked out.
Ooh, yeah,
Intra. Broken
Intra.
Heart stepping forward, but he's going to take a couple of shots from the minions, hurt his minions as well. Nocturne is around the corner, but I don't think he's going to be engaging too hard on that fight. And so
Yeah,
both will back away.
Yeah, this is the Brand support kicking in. A very brutal lane phase for whoever's playing against him. Especially when you have a melee support. If Pyke misses that hook, all threat goes out the window, and he's able to just spam his W as he pleases. Especially as he's playing a Jhin and against a Kog'Maw as well.
And Kog'Maw, one of the lower mobility 80 carries, is going to have a bit of a hard time getting out of Brand's AoE Pillar of Fire, or Pillar of Flame.
He's opting for a gank into the top side.
In the meantime, Lighthouse getting a couple auto attacks onto Crescent Reflect in the mid lane. Kayn buying away, deciding not to go that hard onto Yorick, who's still full health and only dropped a little bit in mana so far this game.
Yeah.
One of those tricky things.
Nazilian, I think, had some spidey senses there. There was no ward before Kayn Kelm, but he was playing back as if he was already there.
Maybe sensing Jack stepping forward when he shouldn't have. Ooh, nice counter strike. Avoids a lot of those little Grave minions' initial damage. So they're going to turn and hit some of the other minions in the lane.
Yeah, Yorick's doing pretty well in this matchup so far. Granted, the CS lead that you see on your screen is largely generated by the fact that Jax is pushing up the way, but here comes a Kayn gank but they don't know about the Nocturne.
Oh, Nocturne sitting around the corner, level 3, has the double buffs, gets the initial jump onto both members, forcing double flashes out of Team Plebs top lane and jungle. They're going to have to back away empty-handed.
Yeah, and this Kog'Maw is forgetting that he didn't take a Duran's shield instead of the Duran's blade here, because he's just getting knocked around by this Brand's poke over and over and over again. You have to wonder if you might see an aggressive flash stun by the Brand at some point, because it's a very as actually they go on the Kog'Maw.
Oh,
it looks like they're turning around.
Though. The Pike trying to do what he can, flashes forward, gets the last shot in, so he is going to give himself first blood, but Kog'Maw's got the trade. Brand backs away with no mana, so it's a 1-for-1, but Jin, with the last fast auto attack, sneaks out first blood for himself.
And I gotta say that I think that trade really favors FeelsXenoMan, you know? I think that could have easily been a very clean 1-for-0 on the side of Team Plebs, and the fact that it wasn't is honestly a bit of a failure on their part. Perhaps if Brand had been the one to make the flashy play instead of Jin, it could have been a clean play. But as it is, still a 1-for-1, still, you know, anyone's game in the bot lane. By no means is it an end of the lane or anything like that. And so now we're looking to see if Brand can maintain that pressure he had in early levels.
It looks like the Jin just went for a bunch of extra daggers and boots, give himself a little bit of extra speed to step forward,
and
try to get those shots down.
Brutal combo.
Ooh, dropped down to about half already. Broken Hearts having to actually dash out of danger rather than going in. I'm going to speed boost to try to catch myself back up to where you are, as Morgana's going to find the Dark Binding onto the Brand. Pike, Harpoon going to miss. The Bone Skewer completely whiffed. Xeno needs one more shot, and it is going to follow through the last of Pike after he already dashed. And Jin picks himself up the second kill of the game. Stun onto Nerzulian on the top side with the counter strike. Not going to do that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Brand may be lacking some killer instinct there, as he had Flash Knight, but Jin is just taking all these kills on the bottom side. Now he's worked his way up to a 3-1 advantage, as well as likely a soon-to-be 15 CS lead.
Yeah, those boots really coming in handy, not only to dodge out on those skills from the Pike, but also be able to step forward there. You saw that fourth shot primed and ready, hits it to, sends it onto the Kog'Maw, and then follows up with his E. We got a teleport from Jax, head back to the top side, down in farm, constantly shoved underneath this turret, down about 20 farm, so that's a nice advantage for FeelsXenoMan, because their bottom lane is really struggling.
Jax is taking some punishment from the Euro Exalt here, as he's level 6 before him. You have to wonder if we might be seeing this top turret go down pretty soon, because it looks like Jax is completely seated to control the lane.
Yeah, Maiden of the Mist will get in, deal a little bit of damage to it. It'll start to drain it out. Nerzulian happy to take a couple of tower shots because he's got plenty of regen. Corrupting Potion still
Here's a scuttle fight in the top side. It looks like Kane gets it. Not good for Nocturne, as he really wanted that to get within one camp of all. Now he's 2 camps away, which is going to really delay those powerful level 6 ganks of his.
Kane hopping over the wall, saying he doesn't really want to fight Nocturne at the moment. Broken Hearts coming up from the bottom side here to gank the mid lane. Get a little bit of damage on Gragas, but he's just going to body slam to safety.
Yeah. So far, the mid lane has been fairly tranquil, as expected from a Morgana matchup. For anyone who hasn't played against Morgana mid, it's pretty boring. She just shields anything that comes her way, W's the backline of casters, and endlessly sustains, and there's not much you're really going to be able to do about it without a lot of extreme coordination by your team.
Oh, Otto having to hop to a ward to escape their Yorick, who's gotten some really good damage on him. Level 6 Pike gets the Bone Skewer onto the Brand, can't find the stun.
Oh, and Nocturne's walking into the Kane.
Jin gets a huge amount of damage. Intra's gone. Let me play on the top side, or on the bottom side, picking up 1. And now, as on the top side, Jack trying to get the outplay, is able to take out Nocturne before the Kane goes down. Saves his teammate, leading to 5 kills to 1 for Team Plebs.
And that was badly needed for Team Xeno, getting that kill onto the Kane there. Hopefully stemming some of the bleeding here, but Lighthouse is roaming up.
Yeah, we might see another kill going over. Otto's got extremely low.
Ooh, not a great bind, but it's not going to matter.
Lighthouse needs one more auto attack. Oh, it's Nerzulian. Good play between these two. Both dropped excruciatingly low, but balancing the turret's damage, are able to pick up that Jax to give themselves a second kill for their team as a total. Still down about 1,000 gold.
Intra's making a play in the bottom lane as he gets the kill with the Pike.
No way! Pike double ultimate, perfectly timed. Broken Hearts What a gorgeous play. Intra stepping up aggressively into those other two. Just knows all he has to do is get them low enough for the Pike to ult now that they've hit that level 6, and it worked beautifully. Just gonna start Reflect coming to the top side, trying to find a fight against Ner'zhuli, and it's a sustain Yorick, though. He may be able to just walk away from this one after that belly slam, belly flop from the Gragas, and the ultimate pushes Ner'zhuli in the opposite direction.
Kane's coming in.
Oh, bad choice from Ner'zhuli to try to fight this one out. Kane comes in. Gragas picks up his own kill. First of the game.
However, yeah, despite the fact that the Team Plebs has a kill lead, they're actually still over 1,000 gold down, thanks to that turret.
And once again, a fight on the bottom side, but this time the Nocturne has joined the fight, flashes forward to finish off. Xeno grabs the extra kill. Now Xeno, who originally was 3-1, now 3-3, having died twice on the bottom side without being able to do much. Kog'Maw is catching back up in farm.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath in this bot lane here. Thanks to that Pike double ult, they've really managed to stabilize a lane that was in grave danger of going completely the way of Team Plebs.
Broken Hearts forcing out the flash from Let Me Play. She just wanted to make sure that she did not get caught by that stun. Broken Hearts ult not available yet, but Brand may not be aware of that.
And they're looking for a dive here, looking like they're going to just pass the turret as Kane walks in behind them. Let's see if they can make anything happen onto the Morgana here, as she's going to likely go down to the Jhin. Pike is still taking a lot of damage here. If the Jhin can get some ult hits in here, it looks like he's going to be going down.
Broken Hearts using the invisibility.
Broken Hearts is trolling.
Way to safety, gets into the brush, but he's seen by a ward, slowed by Def Velado, and that is going to be Jhin picking up another kill. Now Intra with no mana, fighting against Crescent Reflect underneath the turret, tries to flash the barrel, but he's just a little bit late, will go down, but with the help of that turret is able to take out Gragas for himself. 7 kills to 9.
Yeah.
Still a fairly even game.
Yeah, this one's neck and neck. Everyone's going blow for blow here. There hasn't been a really solid lead eked out here yet. The goal difference you're seeing is almost entirely that of that first turret. If Yorick can keep his advantage against the Jax, though, we can start seeing a lot more things being broken up as they look to take this Rift Herald in the trade for the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, it's a Cloud Drake, though, which isn't going to help Team Plebs that much, a little bit on the rotation. But if Jax decides to try to counter Yorick's split push, maybe that Wind Drake will come into effect as the Rift Herald will be picked up. I believe it is the Nocturne that has it, so we can take it to whatever lane they decide to go for the next turret. Probably bottom or mid would be my assumption, as cracking that second tier turret on the top side would be fairly difficult.
I mean, Nocturne's top side, it looks like they might just be trying to get this Yorick into an even more lane dominant position by potentially popping it here. I think they think Jax is just waiting at the turret. He's actually gone back, but they're definitely looking for a play. As the bot in the bot lane.
Execution, Ignite takes away onto the Brand. Kog'Maw going underneath the turret with that passive, trying to burst out.
And Pike misses his ult.
Pike gonna go down. Let Me Play finds his own kill. Rift Herald spawned to the top side with 3 members here as well. They are gonna go for the second tier turret, slam that one down, and they're
gonna take the turret. They're gonna take the inhib turret here
as well. So they actually have a ton of damage to move on to the inhibitor turret. It's going to get slammed down to about half immediately. Made in the miss, starting to drain.
Looks like they're committing despite the collapse from Team Plebs.
Are going to try to get in here, see if they can fight this one away. The Rift Herald is going to drop. Jhin comes out of the base. 2-man knockup from the Gragas. He's going to ult everyone on separate ways. Morgana using a spell shield on herself, but it's not going to be able. She's going to fall as well. Made in the miss, helping the Yorick pick up 1 for all of his trouble, and now he's on the run. Probably just going to touch down onto the Nexus. Nope, running around. Left, right, back to center, gives it over to Otter, who picks up 1, and Otter, alright.
Yeah, Jax almost goes down there, but he holds it steady. Interesting choice, by the way, having Merc treads against the Yorick. I'm not sure if you would necessarily wanted to go that, but either way, they're able to hold off the push. They only get the inhib turret, which is still a big deal, mind you, but it looks like they're looking for a play on the bot side, hoping to take that first turret there.
Broken Hearts, huge chunk of damage by that Jhin. 6, 4, and 3 Storm Razors already completed. Each one of those 4th shot crits.
Barely missed that hook.
People. Oh wait, I'm missing. I'm behind you again. Oh, I'm behind you by a pretty good amount, because there's where I go see Kog'Maw being dropped down. In the meantime, Jax is executed by the
Guys,
Krugs.
embarrassingly to the Krugs.
Yep, that's what exactly.
You
what
hate
wanna
to see it happen.
No, I want to see that happen. I'm kidding. He told me in chat. Honor says he was trolling, just having a little bit of fun, seeing if he could 1v1 against the Krugs at an extremely low health. 2,000 gold lead. What about 1,000 gold lead for FeelsXenoMan? Broken Heart, seeing if he can make an outplay on Xeno himself. Dashes in, can't find the stun though. He's gonna get turret shot. Field's gonna miss, and Jin with a quick feat beautifully outplays the Pike.
Yeah, and it looks like they're finally gonna get that bot turret, stabilizing the gold to just a 700 gold lead for Team Xeno. As Nocturne looks for a kill, but it looks like he may be the one going down here.
Yeah, you try to find a menu or a buffet, but instead you find that you're on the menu. Will be being dropped. Brand with some really good damage, initially setting up for Jin to clean it up in the end.
Jack's going for revenge on the Krugs. He says, "Not today. I will kill you eventually." Oh, and then he gives up anyway.
Jax. I'm just watching Jax now.
Oh, but it looks like Red Team Plebs is going for a collapse into the Yorick after they pick up this Scuttle Crab. Yorick pushing up very far. It looks like he's just going to agree to this inhib. He does have some vision down in the jungle, but little do they know that they've sneaked around all the way through the river as the 4 members of Team Plebs is up here to take him down.
Let's see if it's enough to take out Ner'zhul. Is he going to flash
and
survive? He flashes, but it's not going to be enough. Xeno with a nice last shot, able to finish him off. Also had the ultimate if absolutely necessary. Crescent Reflect doing a good job holding pressure in that mid lane, just continuing to wave clear against the Morgana. Despite all of the spells that she continuously lands, his Broken Hearts finds the pull onto Xeno, but immediately decides to peace out afterwards, not interested in fighting 3.
And chat, can I get a Kappa // for Otter here? Finally taking down those Krugs that have been haunting him all game long. As we get a DC from the side of Team Xeno.
Broken Hearts still trying to find a play, but unknown, sitting on a ward, so they know when this Pike moves forward, trying to find one of those bone skewers. Xeno, a little bit of a bad spot, running around in circles. He's got nice speed boost, getting a pretty good amount of damage onto Broken Hearts. Pike, however, uses that depth water. Oh, point blank range, gets the stun as well. Morgana Dark binding, and the patience finally pays off. Xeno
but remember,
down.
it's 3v4.
Broken Hearts flashing away. There's that reconnection from the Nocturne. No pauses needed this game, apparently. 11 kills to 18, but only down 1,000 gold as 3 members from FeelsXenoMan tries to push in, but Gragas is back. So that wave is going to be cleared right off the map.
And it looks like that binding did more than just kill Jin. It also damaged his mental as well, as he looks to be tilting quite a bit over that play.
Pike going down. He's going to be dropped.
Oh, Kog'Maw the flash forward. He's going crazy.
On to let me play. Will now use the passive inside the trap. But no, that's going to be Kane topping over the wall. He is safe. The Yorick continues to try to chase it in, dropping a ward down, but decides not to go past the turret as X is going to start to tear away that mid-tier first turret and take it down.
Yeah, it looks like Team Xeno feels bad. They're just going to keep pushing their advantage. I mean, they've managed to eke out what was a 700 gold lead now to a 2,000 gold lead. And it looks like they're looking for the next Cloud Drake here, looking to even up the note.
2,000 gold deficit for Team Pleb. They're going to turn on the Wind Drake. Want to pick up a second one, allow those rotations to go a little bit faster. Just kidding, it's FeelsXenoMan that's here hitting this Wind Drake. They want to even up the Wind Drakes. That's the ultimate from Jin, curtain called. But he only has 4 shots, and Pike is going to block the 4th one, make sure that Jin can't be able to...
Oh, and the hook gets it, and that might be the end for but Jin managed to get away with the 5,000 movement speed.
Heals. Nice ultimate from the Gragas, going to knock everyone away. Barrel going to slow down the Pike. He's going to be dropped. Eski using the Blast Cone, good job in knocking away the Kane. However, he can go through walls. We'll see if that holds him as Gragas wants to continue to chase in onto the Nocturne. There's pings from the Kog'Maw saying there is a Gragas we could go get to.
But look at the mid lane.
Himself and potentially in trouble. Back to the bottom side. Xeno down to a quarter health. Kog'Maw trying to get the finish, but Crescent Reflect has way too much damage for that to happen. And even with that passive, still going to walk away and clear himself a control board as well.
Yeah, that play looked like it was going to start out so good for Team Xeno, but unfortunately, even with the Pike hook onto the Jin, they weren't able to close the kill, and it turns into a 2-0 for Team Plebs. Bringing them back that gold lead that was once 2,000 to just a mere 500.
22 kills to 13, but that is not the way this game has gone. It is
As another
still
man
fairly
dies.
close. Let me play dropped once again. Lighthouse just on point with these dark bindings.
Yeah, pro games are slow. Well, that's what they want to show. That not every game of high caliber is slow, as the kills are racking up at a rate faster than that of World War II. We're looking to see, hopefully, if maybe this Yorick can start getting the split push started on perhaps the bottom side.
Jack's trying to get that top side cleared out. It is still an open inhibitor up there. Keep that in mind if anyone, especially that Yorick, tries to just get into the enemy base running through the jungle. It's going to be imperative for Team Plebs to keep that top side warded, keep that vision up there in case anyone tries to get in and take that top inhibitor uncontested.
Yeah, it looks like we have a bit of a moment to breathe here as both teams are resetting a bit. So with that in mind, what is the win condition here for both teams? I have to feel like the split push is still a very viable option for Team Xeno here, as Yorick seems to have a definitive advantage over the Jax. We'll see as he's taking a fight right now.
Yeah, Broken Heart's gonna just use the execution. Let me play drops on that jungle side as Devlado tries to chase in. Nocturne ulting in onto the Jax. He's using the counter strike to avoid some of the initial damage, but I think he's still gonna go down. Smite gonna guarantee. Esk able to pick up his second kill of the game. Devlado looking for an engage. He's got the Jhin primed and ready with that fourth shot, but who will he use it on? It's a bunch of delay, forced to heal himself to get out as well. No, heal was already used. He just fourth shot, I believe it was Yorick to get himself to safety. Gragas going down as well, and FeelsXenoMan continues to push in after winning a pretty good fight in that top and jungle. Now looking for an inhibitor as well. Are they going to be able to find it? Pushing Xeno and Desvelado back underneath their own Nexus turrets. Inhibitor will fall, and there's the call to retreat.
Yeah, and Baron's up, though. You have to wonder if potentially one of the teams could look to do it. They have a lot of damage with the Kog'Maw. Potentially, Team Plebs could even go for a reset, but it looks like they're just going to opt to pick up the farm they've been missing. Gragas calling out the GG. Perhaps a little tilted there, but don't worry, bud. You're only 3k down. I think you guys still have a good shot.
Yeah, 3k down is not that bad. For FeelsXenoMan is actually doing exactly what their composition is really meant to do. When you've got Morgana for the hooks, Kog'Maw for the long range engages, Nocturne as well, long range engage. They don't want a 5v5 though. If you think about Brand in a 5v5 situation, Gragas in a 5v5 situation, Team Plebs want to have those bigger fights, but instead they continue to end up in these skirmishes around the jungle and never fighting as a full 5-man. Again, because they also want to have that Jax pushing in the side lane, but he's 153 farm to the 171 of the Yorick. He's lost most of his fights versus the Yorick. I think that Team Plebs really just need to group as 5 and try to shove down a lane together.
Yeah, the issue with Team Plebs, it looks like they're mentally kind of boom right now. They're not that far down, but it looks like their mental is causing them to make some plays that perhaps are not very advisable as he does pick up the Nocturne.
Yes, Desvelado doing what he can. He's probably still going to drop to the Yorick, who just has to walk in. There's that last final Q. The shovel, Nasus finishing that one off. Pyke ulting a couple of minions just to shove that wave in a little bit faster as the bottom lane second tier in the eyes of FeelsXenoMan. They should be able to pick it up uncontested. The question is, will they continue onto the inhibitor turrets, or will they back? As Rar, 3 subs for 5 months. Holy moly. Rar, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. As the bottom lane turret will be dropped. Morgana Dark Binding finishes off Gragas as well. FeelsXenoMan says, we want to fight. We're ready finally now to take this not quite 5v5 because we're just going to keep picking you apart bit by bit. Kog'Maw going to get a little bit of burst onto Nerzulian as his passive wears off and he goes down. FeelsXenoMan decides to back away after taking that second inhibitor and let those minions push in.
Yeah, and if Plebs was tilting before, they're certainly even more tilted now. This definitely is not. This went from a very close game to 2 inhibs down in a matter of a few minutes. It looks like if they can get a proper 5v5 going, they might have a chance. But so far, the story of the game has just been that someone respawns in the very next second, someone dies. They need to get all 5 members on the map and stop playing the solo queue style of just running in one by one.
In brightest day, in darkest night, Rarim Day, will always fight. To those who worship XLNC beware, Rarum Dead might be following there. Thank you, Rar, for the 5 months. As Jin gonna be in trouble once again. Zeno forced to flash away. He's not dead quite yet, but Broken Hearts finds him with the ultimate. That X gonna be marking this spot as he's now on the run. Nocturne ulting in, getting him extremely low. Gragas finds the finish shut down, but it's only a short minute before Brand follows into the Nexus pool. The broken stopwatch keeping the Nocturne alive. The barrel blows up, but it's not going to be enough damage, and Lighthouse finishes off Gragas. Kane going to follow as well. That is a 4-4-1. This is not the fight Team Plebs want. And again, they're spread out. They're across the map. They're going in one by one. And FeelsXenoMan just picks them apart every single time.
Yeah, Gragas seems to have forgotten that it's not Season 2 anymore. You can't just one-shot people with your ult. You have to basically do at least a full 2 combos before you start knocking people down, as it looks like Team XenoMan is going to take their entire base and look to end it right here.
Julian moving in, hasn't made them miss, tanking up the Nexus turrets. He decides instead to focus on that inhibitor, get the super minions pushing in every single lane. We've already got waves on the top and bottom side of those supers pushing in. Will the Nexus turret go down now, or will it be a moment later? They could back and try to go for the Baron. See what they decide to do.
It's desperate. It's a fight of the Alamo, a desperate last stand for Team Plebs. It looks like Team XenoMan is going to close it out in a confident fashion. They're going to look towards that Baron to guarantee the win with 3 waves of super minions. After they get this Baron, it's hard to see Team Plebs Nexus lasting much longer.
Yeah, even with only 1 Nexus turret left, I don't think it's going to be able to hold against those super minions, and everyone is so far behind in gold. It's been grown to almost a 10,000 gold lead. FeelsXenoMan should be able to back rebuy with all of the new gold that they have, finish off the last bit of those couple third items that they need, as most of the members of Team Plebs are still sitting on 2 and 2.5 perhaps, as Jin, one of the few 10, 7, and 6 to have 3 items in his inventory completed.
And here comes a fearsome death ball up the middle lane. They have no cares, they have no fears. They're gonna go straight down the throat of Team Plebs and look to end this game. Actually, Nocturne just goes crazy. He just goes straight and knocks. He doesn't even have anything to do.
He just walks in, flies in, finds himself a Brand. That's an extra minion kill for himself, and that's a nice bone spear pulling Jax in. He opts to take the moment, Crescent Pitlock on the run, but he's going to die to the Pike ultimate. And the Kane trying to ult to save his life, hopping out of the base, distracting the team, but they have their eyes set onto the Nexus. The Nexus second turret going to fall short order once those Baroned up super minions come smashing in. Jax versus the Kane looks like, Nocturne versus the Kane. The attack speed Nocturne is going to win out. He gets popped by the Jin, but has the GA, will resurrect, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of Game 4. FeelsXenoMan, definitely the name of the game.
Yeah, it was a bloodthirsty one, but in the end, Teams FeelsXenoMan, I'm butchering it, whatever. In the end, they pulled out the victory, taking it with decisive team play over individual styling on them.
Yeah, Tequila played something other than ADC. There's a lot that was different tonight. Intra taking the Kog'Maw. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder, though. I feel like the story of this game, while it was a lot of bloody kills, it feels like there might have been a communication breakdown on Team Plebs in the mid-half of the game. When you have people visibly talking in all chat and perhaps going you have to be questioning what exactly is going on in the comms of that team.
Well, either way, we'll never know unless we talk to them. Let's roll through the honorable mentions and the MVPs for the end of the game. Give it to us for the losing team.
Yeah, all right. So on the side of Team Plebs, I have to say I really liked Zeno, despite the fact that, FeelsXenoMan. I really liked his aggression. He was willing to make the plays, even if they didn't always quite work out the way he wanted to. I always appreciate an AD carry that's willing to flash forward and go in. So he definitely gets my MVP for this game. As for the honorable mention, it's hard to say. I think for sure the Kane. He was making a lot more jungle plays early on. He was trying his absolute best to help his lane stay stable. And up until the 20-minute mark, he was doing a fairly adequate job. It's just that really, it wasn't any individual failure that started letting them down. It just became a lot of isolated kills that were stacking up over and over again and mounted into numerous objectives taken for the Xeno side.
All right, for the winning team, FeelsXenoMan, we got a bunch of different people that did well in different ways. But if I was trying to think of the honorable mention, I think I'm going to give it to Lighthouse for, generally speaking, playing a safe champion, in that he was mostly looking for those dark bindings to set the rest of the team up. Didn't take any crazy fancy risks of flashing into an enemy team, trying to get a 5-man ultimate or anything, but instead was playing back, was playing wisely, dropping those spell shields when critical, and really taking kind of a backseat approach that allowed the team to really move forward uncontested when it came to those later game team fights. And for the, if Essay doesn't get it, rage mode on. What?
I don't know. I don't think Nox deserves it. I think
he
he played well, but he wasn't why they were winning the game.
I think he's a shout out, but not MVP. I think MVP goes to Broken Hearts.
Really?
The reason why is that the early game, remember when they were being pushed so far underneath the turret? Broken Hearts turned that fight around using the double ultimate to get Intra back into the game, and then later on wasn't afraid to even go 1v1 toe-to-toe with champions. It's a support Pyke, sure, ADC, mostly ADC, but he's a squishy champion, and it's very easy when you're playing squishy champions into things like a Brand or a Jhin or a Jax, just kind of wait for the rest of your team to come up. But Broken Hearts wasn't afraid to make engages into the actual fights and use that ult very effectively when it came to later stages. And maybe I'm just, the 777 is kind of cool. That's like lottery numbers right there. I mean, can you argue with that?
Well, I was going to say, I felt like Yorick was the one really putting in the work here. He was dominating in lane phase. He had like a 20 CS lead almost single-handedly by himself. The first inhib went down from his lane because he was pushing it in so hard constantly. Granted, I think Pyke played well. I might have given him the honorable mention over Morgana. It's hard to say. Honestly, a lot of the players on their team played well. But I would say...
That's what I'm saying. No,
but like... I would say the only person, I think I'd stick with Yorick, and then for honorable mention to be Morgana and the Pyke.
And the Pyke both get honorable mention? Whoa, fanciness.
Everyone else was just okay. I mean, good, but you did your job, but you could have excelled a little more, guys.
Everyone get honorable mention. You're mentioned honorably for being okay. Like you're okay. You're not terrible, but you're not great. You're just okay.
You have room to improve.
Everyone has room to improve. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for us tonight at XLNC. If you have anyone that is streaming right now that you want us to raid, let me know. Let's find someone to give them a bunch of viewers and kind of jump in, see what they're doing. Love to hear your guys' suggestion. I think I have one myself if no one's got anyone that they're really wanting to get rated. But otherwise, I'm going to run through all of the amazing support that you guys gave tonight with Real Galaxy 36 following, Investment following, Troll Pick, thank you for the follow, Lord Reeves with the 5 gifted subs, and Rar, of course, subbing as well, showing his long-lasting support. He's been one of the people that's supported viewership-wise this stream for an eternity. So, with that, Cold Art, thank you so much for casting tonight. It was a blast.
No problem.
It was a blast.
Yeah. I had a good time.
And greatly appreciate it. We will, hopefully we can have you back on again casting another time. And if not, what do you main, really quick? What's your
I play jungle, but they made me switch to support for my collegiate team because we didn't have a support. So now I'm a D4, D3 support main, plays Fiddlesticks, Malphite support, Pantheon support, just real meta picks mostly.
Well, we're excited to see you bring some of those onto the stream. And hey, we can probably get you into a couple games as a jungler in the future as well. So you'll be back in your comfort zone.
All right, I guess that about does it. If you guys want to leave some nice